earliest memory I probably have got is around year 5 and year 6. But I got an opportunity to go to a private school for 2 years, which was unbelievable. The extracurricular side of things in that kind of private school bubble were unbelievable. Like playing, cricket fixtures, football, that kind of vibe is what I remember really fondly. But one of the more negative experiences I had was around swimming, because I jumped into this private school setting at year 5, so far behind the curve in terms of the rest of the kids swimming. So it was like, right, okay, everyone get in and do 10 lengths warm up. And I was like, fat, blubbery mess at the background, like borderline drowning. Like, wait up, lads, blah, 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 blah. As I reflect now, I've never really been a great swimmer. I can get by. I can do 10, 20 lengths now, but probably come out as a sweaty, blubbery mess again. But I think that early kind of thinking I wasn't good enough in swimming probably just made me kind of write off swimming altogether. As soon as a child or as soon as a young person has that moment where their confidence is knocked, or they're told they're not very good, or they realise they're not very good, then it can have such a long-lasting damaging effect. Because I basically sacked off swimming from that moment and just about got by on kind of going on holiday with my parents and jumping in the pool and everything else. But I never took it any further because I was labelled early in year 5 compared to these other children as being a poor swimmer.
I had the same experience as you. I had a terrible experience with swimming. I had a really bad experience. I think I had it in year 2 or something like that. And it was just, I was petrified of the water, but I didn't have that role model, that teacher to help and support me to get rid of the fear factor. And look at me now, I'm a swimming coordinator. I'm won this national award for school swimming. And I think the reason for it is because I thought, well, if I got a really bad experience, my job now is I'm going to make sure that every single child that I teach who are in front of me right now, I want them to have the best possible experience they can have. And that's what gives me the drive as well. Through what happened to me, I don't want it to happen to anybody else.
The fact that it's inspired you to really drive swimming forward says a lot about the fact that you've looked back and reflected on your experiences as a child and thought, I don't want the same for our children at our school. I want them to really have that positive kind of association with swimming. And that's, a testament to yourself and how you've approached that. And when I think back to that particular teacher that took swimming back in, it must have been like 1995 or something like that, I got the vibe that I was a hindrance. He had all these elite swimmers. He had all these kind of, I think we only had a class of 16, but probably the other 15 children were so far ahead. He couldn't be bothered to differentiate for the weaker swimmer that I was in that particular setting. And I sensed looking at him that he couldn't be bothered with me. And he couldn't be, almost like cast me aside. And all these kind of feelings when I was getting changed in the changing room, I was just like feeling on my shoulders about swimming. And the thing was, I was like quite able across the rest of the curriculum, able footballer, cricketer, rugby player, everything else. And that's probably what made me just think, oh, well, I'll just sack off swimming. I'm good at all the other stuff. I'll just like forget that, as opposed to being kind of motivated to addressing that. So it was a weird kind of dynamic that was brought about by the teacher's body language, facial expression, what he said to me during the sessions. He just wasn't bothered by me. I was just in the way of all these elite swimmers. So that was the vibe I had. And you're right, we want our children of 2026 and beyond to have a much more positive association. So yeah, fair play to yourself for doing that.
Thank you. It's that kind of thing. Like if you was a year 1 or 2 and that was happened then, you probably wouldn't remember it, because you're year 5, you still remember it to this day. Peer-on-peer sport is one of the biggest tools we can have. Why couldn't you got one who is gifted and talented, like we say? Why couldn't you just have one of those children to help and support with peer-on-peer sport, like a side task? Because I've had some of my children pass 25 meters because a 9-year-old's taught them it. I've taught the 9-year-old, and 9-year-old's finished it off.
Yeah.
Now I go, okay, I can see where the gap filling is there. Okay, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you need to work on this. Okay, go and support. And I've had 9-year-olds teach my other 9-year-olds, and they've smashed it. It's just one of the greatest tools ever is peer and peer.